Savannah and Drew bought a 1987 Mercedes-Benz Unimog 1300 L4x4 military ambulance and converted it themselves into a full-time truck camper. Let's take a look at how they did it. These are the doors and windows they ordered to fit the vehicle's body. Since they were all custom-sized, they only had to slightly trim the rounded edges to easily fit them into the vehicle's body, and then secure them with screws. The placement of windows, on the other hand, offers much more flexibility. After planning the interior layout, first use an electric drill to mark the positions in the corners, then switch to a jigsaw to cut along the marked lines, ensuring a seamless fit between the window frame and the wall. Before closing the space off, they plan to repaint the interior. They will use an angle grinder to sand the areas to be painted, which will roughen the smooth walls. Combined with a highly adhesive water-based polyurethane primer, this will ensure the cream-colored topcoat can be applied with confidence. The next day, the two of them put the windows back in place one by one and installed the roller blinds on the hinges, which not only enhanced privacy but also saved some interior space. After installing the hatches on both sides, they cut a new vent in the roof, applied a gasket, and used it to improve ventilation inside the cabin. Next, they built an aluminum alloy bed. Drew's wife attached the bed legs to the frame, making sure it fit the shape of the car, and then flipped it over so they could weld the internal frame. Since the space under the bed served as a storage area, Drew's wife made sure to leave a hidden entrance there, so that the various components could be moved indoors and bolted together into a single unit. All it took was applying this metal-specific adhesive to the surfaces and securing them in place. Of course, the space above the bed shouldn't go to waste either. Drew suggested installing a wall cabinet there, and the task was assigned to Savannah. After preparing the wood, Savannah drilled pilot holes for the screws into the boards. Then, she simply used white glue to secure the pieces in place at the joints, and the main body of the storage cabinet was easily assembled. She then cut grooves into each piece of wood so they could interlock to form the cabinet doors. By filling the gaps with this open-weave material, the items inside would be visible through the openings. While the mesh was soaking, Savannah didn't sit idle either. She painted all the finished cabinets the same color. Once the paint dried and the mesh had regained its flexibility, she used a nail gun to assemble them, then installed secure locks. Being meticulous, Savannah even lined the inside with soft padding. Once it was finished, Drew applied adhesive to the back of the cabinet, then lifted it over his head in one go. To allow the adhesive to set properly, they also used wooden blocks to temporarily prop up the bottom of the cabinet. After the Drews tested the projector's position, they attached magnetic backing plates to the markings they had made and routed the internal wiring to give the room a cozier feel. The next day, Drew installed the fluorescent lights into the ceiling and officially connected the portable power bank to the RV's electrical system. Thanks to the magnetic mounting system, the RV can now be transformed into a home theater in an instant, anytime, anywhere. The room looks much cozier now. Next, they will install solar panels on the car, but to secure them in place, they will need to use aluminum alloy square tubing to build a custom support frame. Install a new set of headlights and a winch on the vehicle. The Drews also removed the extra roof components. They plan to mount the spare tire rack there. After verifying that the dimensions are correct, the frames are spray painted uniformly to prevent rust and give the vehicle a more cohesive overall appearance. The Drews began producing furniture on a large scale. After making sure the cabinets can accommodate the refrigerator, test the oven and stove as well. Then, you can install trim around the edges and position the side outlets and controls. Considering that the vehicle is constantly subjected to bumps while in motion, and that traditional granite and marble countertops are prone to cracking, Drew's wife specifically chose a solid wood countertop. Drew installed 16 batteries right under the couch, then assembled the circuit board and inverter. The next day, Drew officially connected the power system to the RV and installed an external charging port, ensuring that all electrical appliances would function properly whether the RV was on the road or in the middle of nowhere. Since water quality in the wilderness can be inconsistent, the Drews also plan to install a water purification filter in their vehicle. Fortunately, they had set aside space under the bed in advance, allowing them to easily accommodate a 100-gallon freshwater tank. As for the black water tank, they'll simply place it directly beneath the sink. Since this is an RV intended for around-the-world travel, the driver's comfort is of the utmost importance, so they also had to make some modifications to the cab. First, they removed the headliner, then scraped off the old rubber flooring and rust from the floor. To ensure the soundproofing performance of the cab, Drew purchased a large quantity of vibration-damping panels. These effectively reduce vibration and sound transmission through the sheet metal and can be easily reshaped as needed. They are also convenient to install. While laying the panels, aluminum foil-backed foam pads were inserted to ensure the walls provide proper thermal insulation. To make the cab a more comfortable and relaxed space, Drew's wife built a partitioned armrest box out of wood, cutting out holes for cup holders in advance. After testing the size, she wrapped the entire box in padding. Since they planned to build a fold-out bathroom, Drew's wife welded movable tracks onto the shower tray in advance. Using the pulleys on the frame, it can be opened and closed as desired. Since the metal shower tray wasn't very attractive and posed a slip hazard while showering, Drew's wife brought in a sauna step stool. After adjusting its size, it fit perfectly into the bathroom. With the living area now divided up, they finally had time to take care of the remaining details. The space under the bed served as storage, which Drew had filled with all sorts of odds and ends. Since unexpected situations can arise in the wilderness, they also installed several racks on the outside of the vehicle to hold a recovery board and a spare fuel tank, and took the opportunity to install a backup camera as well, making it easier to see what's behind them. Apply a coat of paint to the vehicle's undercarriage. As for the car's exterior color, the Drews chose blue. As the long-dormant engine was reignited, the Drews officially set out on their journey into the unknown.